What's going on, guys? Matt here with Maple City Firearms, and this is the debut episode of the No Guns in the Kitchen podcast. Without further ado, let's get into it. Cue that obnoxious music. Okay, here it is, the long-awaited No Guns in the Kitchen podcast. You asked for it, you begged for it, and it's finally here. Nobody asked me for this. As a matter of fact, until about 20 minutes ago, I didn't know I was going to do this. And then I couldn't find my tripod, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. My dreams of doing the No Guns in the Kitchen podcast are already ruined before they even really got off their feet. And then I found it, and so here I am. What is this going to be, and why is this going to be? It's going to be whatever I want it to be, and because I want to. Moving on. I want to address something real quick, because I know people are going to ask about it. I can already hear people typing away like, oh my god! Yeah, the sound sucks. And until you send me some money for a microphone, it's not going to get any better. Oh, here comes the link to the Patreon. I don't even know what Patreon is, really. So, I don't have a Patreon. I was kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. You could send me money. Here's what you do. My name is Matthew Dotson. Go ahead, get an envelope, write Matthew Dotson on there, put some money in there, and then just give it to your mailman. He'll know where I am. Then when I put your name on it too, so when I get the money, I'll buy a microphone, and then the next video I do, where the sound will be crisp, clear, and I'll sound like freaking James Earl Jones up here, I will give you all the credit for the new sound, and then you can go in the comments and be like, yeah, that was me. And everyone will be like, oh, thank goodness, because the first episode was the greatest thing I ever heard, except that the sound was dog shit. And now everything is perfect, and then they'll give me an Emmy. What do people get Emmys for? I honestly don't know. Is Emmy for TV or movies? I don't know why I'm waiting. There's no one here to answer me. I'm all alone in my kitchen with my guns. It's called the No Guns in the Kitchen podcast, but you see there's a gun right here. This is my stove gun. Everyone should have a stove gun. Stove gun is simple. It's on top of the stove. Now, some people put them in the oven. Still a stove gun, though. There's no such thing as an oven gun. That's stupid. Putting your stove gun in the oven is acceptable, but here's the problem. When you have a gun on top of the stove and you're going to use the burners, you're obviously going to know to move the gun first. Because it's going to be right there, you're going to see it, so you won't harm the gun. But when you have your stove gun, your stove gun in the oven, and you preheat the oven because you're going to bake some cookies or something, a lot of times people forget that their stove gun is in the oven. This is what we call really trying to milk a bit. I don't know what, this isn't milking. This is milking, right? You can tell I've never milked anything before. Real quick, and I think I may have already done this, so I apologize if you didn't get your warning first. I'm gonna swear in this. I don't swear in stuff that I post. I don't usually swear in any videos I do, or in classes, or even in real life, generally speaking. But this is sort of a late night, anything goes, stream of consciousness type thing. So I'll probably end up swearing a little bit. I want to talk about 2 or 3 things. I want to talk about 3 things, but I think I've already forgotten one of the things. So I'm going to talk about at least 2 things, and we'll see if the other one comes to me, that have happened sort of this week or last week. I don't know when I'm going to post this. Maybe never. We'll see how it looks when I'm done. First and foremost, President Trump was acquitted today. So we'll talk about that first because it's the most recent. On the charges of treason or whatever the hell they were saying. I don't really know. I didn't follow it that closely, to be perfectly honest with you. So, Matt, why are you talking about it if you didn't follow? Well, I do think it's interesting. They were trying to say that he, incited violence and all that stuff on January 6th. And there was a case to be made. Sure, absolutely. I don't deny that. I didn't quite agree with it, not because I'm a big Trump fan. Everyone kind of hates me when it comes to politics anymore, because it's like, I don't like this guy or this guy, and then they're like, oh, pick a side, damn it. It's just tough for me right now. I pretty much want a guy who's pro-gun, and it's like, where the hell are they? I can't find them. So I'm kind of a man without a country right now, but whatever. Boo-hoo! None of the presidential candidates are nice. Anyway, they don't meet my approval. But no, back to what I was saying. But I didn't like the idea of him being impeached, because I really felt like it was going to set a bad precedent that we're gonna go after people for inciting violence that they didn't really incite. I just didn't feel like the evidence was there. And frankly, I don't think the Democrats did either. I mean, the videos, one of the things that Trump's lawyer was able to do when he was up there talking was basically able to put the videos that the Democrats put up right next to the actual videos and show, look, you cut out a ton of crap. Even if the extra crap wasn't all that relevant, which a lot of it was, by the way, it still really looks bad. The Democrats should have known that. And for me, that was like, I was kind of like, I don't really feel that strongly about this. I don't know what's going to happen. And then I saw that and I was like, oh, well, that's pretty damning right there. Now, at the end of the day, you could say, yeah, but everyone just voted their party. And that's kind of what always happens, right? Whatever, it is what it is. I personally would not have been all that bummed out if Trump had gotten impeached and wasn't able to run again in 2024, because I'll tell you what, and a lot of people are going to click on off after this, I don't want him to run again. I am a conservative person, generally speaking, maybe more libertarian, maybe not, I don't know. But I don't want him to run again. I don't think he's that great of a candidate. I don't know if he can win either. So I don't want someone like Joe Biden to be president or Kamala Harris to be president. I don't really want someone like Trump to be president either. I wouldn't vote for either of them, probably. I don't know. And I think we can get a stronger candidate, for sure. One that isn't so divisive. And, one of the reasons, say what you will about the election, rigged, not rigged, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I'm not here to talk about that. But I think what's interesting about that is that so many people came out to vote for Biden, not because Biden brings out the best in people, like, oh, we have to vote for Biden. Biden's going to be such a great president, going to save America. No. Even talk to these people. They didn't give a crap about Biden. They don't like Trump. Why would you want a guy who's so divisive that it brings all of the enemies out to vote against him? It just doesn't make sense to me. That's just me. So I was sort of torn. Like a weird part of me wanted him, the impeachment charges to go through, just so that he wouldn't run again, because I felt we would have had a better chance. Now there's going to be everyone trying to push him to run again. It's like, ugh, can't we get someone better? Anyway, but ultimately I'm happy about what happened, just because, like I said, I don't like the precedent that it sends, that everything we say is now inciting violence. Like, my gosh, get over yourself. And then kind of going down that same road, sort of, kind of, not really, let's talk a little about cancel culture. The whole Gina Carano, I don't know if I've ever heard her entire name actually spoken. She was the girl who was a UFC fighter, and then she decided to be an actress. She's been in a handful of things. She was in a Spider-Man movie, or an Avengers, one of these superhero movies. I don't honestly know if I even saw it, but I heard about that. And then she was in Star Wars Mandalorian, the Disney Plus show. And she was a supporting character in that show for a couple seasons. And she was okay. I'm not going to sit here and I was pretty bummed out that she got fired. Oh yeah, spoiler alert, she got fired. This was like 3 days ago. You probably already know about it by now. She got fired from Disney for a variety of things. We don't really have a lot of clarification. I'll get into that in a minute. But, and I was bummed out. I wasn't that bummed out because her character was really just that awesome. Her character was okay. But I was really just bummed out because I don't like this cancel culture crap. And I'll get more into that in just a minute. Back to what she got canned for was they basically said, we're just not bringing her back, and we're really upset about one of her tweets or something like that. She had shared something about the Holocaust, and basically it was meant to warn people about, sending, the Nazis sent, gosh, I don't want to misquote what it said, but basically it was warning people about bad things that happened during that time in Nazi Germany and being concerned about it happening here. More of the same, right? We see Democrats and conservatives and Republicans, whatever, sharing stuff like that all the time. I've probably done it. You've probably done it. Everyone at some point in time has either called someone a Nazi or said, oh, it's like Nazi Germany, or this. It's like everyone does it, all right? Including, by the way, just in the last couple of years, the head dude who's the head actor at The Mandalorian. What the heck's his name? I don't know what his name is. Something. And Pedro Pascal. A bunch of people's last names I don't know how to pronounce. He apparently did something very similar. And listen, is it distasteful? Maybe. Is it kind of overly dramatic? Is it sort of trivializing what actually happened during the Holocaust? I think there's a case to be made, certainly for some of those. I kind of cringe when I see that. It's like, all right, guys, we get it. And I even posted something on my Facebook page just yesterday, today, I don't remember what day it was, stating something to that, basically making fun of the fact that everybody who's Republican or Democrat, if they disagree with someone, they just call them a Nazi. And it's like, oh, we get it, guys. The Nazis suck, and everyone you don't like sucks, so therefore they're a Nazi. So I do get irritated by it. I don't think it was fireable, personally. And then people say, oh, but she was warned to stop sharing stuff on social media. It's like, yeah, I think that's stupid. I mean, people share stuff on social media. You think that there's no liberals that work for that company that have shared, divisive stuff on social media? No. The reality is she got fired because she's a conservative person. That's just all there is to it. And you know what? I support their right to do that. I think Disney should be able to fire her because they don't like the color of her eyes. Who gives a crap? That's their right. That being said, I still hate this idea of cancel culture. Somebody says something we don't like, we get enough of our buddies together and we say, fire them, fire them, fire them. It's like, what is that crap? Come on, we can't enjoy anything anymore because we're always worried that the next person's going to get fired for something. Now, there's so many aspects to cancel culture, kind of looking into this, and I was actually wondering, like, when did this all really start? And I think it probably, at least in our lifetime, really started around the time where where boycott movements were starting. A company did this, and so we're going to boycott that company. And that was a little bit different than canceling individuals, but I think that's probably sort of where it started, and I just don't like it, frankly. I'm not saying that I've never been in support of it in the past. I probably have, and I'm probably sounding like a hypocrite at this point in time. And it led me to, I posted something today about Colin Kaepernick, and I basically said, hey, listen, if you were saying a couple years ago, I'm going to boycott the NFL or I'm going to boycott Nike if you don't, get rid of Colin Kaepernick for kneeling for the national anthem, then basically you were a big part of getting cancel culture, this modernized cancel culture off the ground. And I get it. I get why people are upset. Now, somebody brought up, and I never got a chance to respond to them, I probably still will, in the comments of that post, they said something along the lines of, I don't want to mischaracterize what they were saying, but basically the idea of it was, I wasn't asking for him to be canceled. I just no longer was interested in watching their games because of this. And I think that's interesting, and I think there's a real thin line in there, and there is a distinction, and it's kind of tough to find. I suppose if you're more or less quietly saying, I'm done with the NFL, or I'm just not going to buy Nike shoes anymore, is different from actively going out and saying, hey, fire this person. That is different. It's a fine line, but I think there is a difference there. And I'm still kind of going through that in my head to try to sort of figure out how I feel about that. Because at the time I was critical of Colin Kaepernick, but I also said at the time that I wasn't interested in boycotting the NFL or even boycotting Nike. Okay? I'm still a customer of both those guys. All right? I like what they have to offer. I'm not going to like their politics all the time, or maybe ever, but that's just where I'm at. I mean, that's everything, guys. The fact that you're watching this video on YouTube right now, okay, and that I'm feeding into that monster. I'm not a fan of their politics either. But I mean, it's our social media, it's our sports, it's our entertainment, music, everything. I mean, pretty much all these industries are run, or at least seemingly run, by people who have views that I probably don't agree with. But I'm not interested I don't, when I think about consuming a product, I'm not thinking, does this person feel the same way about everything as I do? Now, you could then also say, are the views of this individual or this company in direct violation with everything I believe? Because then you could make a case that why would you want to support them? I get that. Or if you have an alternative, like let's say there's a pro-gun company versus an anti-gun company, and they do basically the same thing. Well, I'm probably going with the pro-gun company. But that really leads into a whole other conversation back to Gina Carano. This is an important fact as well that I failed to mention because I don't have any notes here, and I apologize. This is all kind of, like I said, stream of consciousness. She got a deal with the Daily Wire. If you're not familiar with the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's company, or part owner or founder, whatever it is, the multimedia conglomerate, I don't know what the heck they call themselves. And they're doing movies now. They're producing movies. They've produced one film. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed reviews. Of course, the critics hated it and the viewers loved it. That's what Rotten Tomatoes says, at least. So we'll see what happens with that. I do plan on watching it, but it's good. But they made a deal with Gina Carano. She is going to produce and star in a feature-length film, and yeah, we'll see. She's stoked about it. They're stoked about it. We'll see what happens. I think it's good. Now, I want to clarify something. I have no interest in watching movies that have a right-wing agenda. Just like I don't have an interest in watching movies that have a left-wing agenda. I don't want my movies to have agendas, okay? It can be a political film and not be biased. You see what I'm saying? I'm just not interested in that sort of thing. I don't want to be preached to in my entertainment. But that's just me. But why I like this is, first of all, I have no reason to believe that they're going to make a preachy movie about conservatism. They might. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is new territory for them. But assuming that that's not what they're going to do, I like the idea of there being alternative options for people out there who are scared of being canceled. Because if this works out, the Daily Wire will do more films, and other companies out there, other production companies will come up and they'll see, okay, there's a lane here for all those canceled celebrities out there who still want to work and who could still bring a crowd. This could be a lane we could go to. And what that does is it takes some of the power away from this Hollywood monster that is basically just able to cancel these people and destroy their entire lives at will. Okay? Get in line with our politics, post what we say, don't post what we tell you not to say, otherwise your life is ruined. It'll take away their teeth, and hopefully eventually we can just be done with this whole cancel culture thing. Now, speaking of Hollywood and cancel culture, I mean, I do think that we should make a distinction between, the Me Too movement in Hollywood and the cancel culture. There is a difference. There's a big difference between, Gina Carano's spicy memes and, what the heck is that dude? Weinstein, supposedly, apparently, raping a bunch of girls, Big freaking difference, obviously. But I think for me, the big distinction between whether or not I think you should be canceled or not is really just, did you commit a crime? In which case, you should probably go to jail. In which case, you can't do movies anyway. That's kind of the ultimate cancel, is going to prison, right? I guess for me, that's the line. The line might be a little farther over here. I don't know. I need to see where that's at. But as of right now, we're just canceling everyone who seems like it comes up a little bit controversial on one side or the other. That being said, Nick Cannon just got his job back, and he literally called white people animals and savages. So, that's fun. Yes, that's taken out of context, but it is literally what he said, and he did literally double down on it a couple times in that interview. That's interesting. But whatever. Hey, he got his job back. Good for him. Hopefully he's reevaluated his opinion of Caucasians. Maybe not. Whatever. You do you, right? But even that, I heard about that when it happened. You think I was out there typing, "We must have him fired"? No. I've got better things to do. I wasn't consuming whatever it was he was doing anyhow, so what do I care? Anyway, that's my bit about cancel culture. And that's actually about it for today, guys. I think I'm going to pack it up. What do you want to hear me talk about, if anything? Is this useful? Should it be more structured? Are you going to send me money for that microphone? What do I need to do here, guys? Tell me. How can I make this more interesting? I'll tell you what, if your notes are, why don't you talk more about fill in the blank with something I'm not interested in talking about, my response will be, thanks for the suggestion, and then I'll ignore you, because the reality is if I don't enjoy doing it, there's no point in doing it. I would like to have guests at some point in time, maybe not in person at first, but nobody wants to hang out in my kitchen. But there's a little room right here, actually. You could sit right here. I could move over. Someone could sit right there. We'll just move the toaster. But in all seriousness, I would like to maybe do some video interview conversations with other people. What kind of people? Well, all kinds of people. I really don't give a crap. I don't care if you're into guns. I don't care if you're right-leaning or left-leaning. I don't care if you want to talk about the Super Bowl or if we want to talk about guns or the Super Bowl. Man, that was kind of a bummer, wasn't it? Boring. I thought it was boring. But it's weird because I've talked to 3 people that I didn't watch the Super Bowl with. And one person was like, "Oh, that was really lame. The other person was like, this is one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. I don't know. I guess it just kind of depends what you think. Man, this is going to end with a whimper. I should do something fun. Oh, I'm going to be giving some stuff away. I'm not giving anything away tonight. I'm going to be giving some stuff away in these videos at some point in time. I didn't talk about guns at all. I've started carrying the HK-VP9 again. I've had this for a couple years, but I decided to start carrying it again recently. And I've been using this Bravo concealment holster. This is one of the newer ones. They've been making holsters for many years. They're actually, I think they may have actually been the company I bought my first Kydex holster from way back in the day. They make them very differently than they used to. I don't know if it's better. It's definitely cheaper and quicker turnaround time. I'll give them that. But I don't know. I might do a review on this specific holster. And I also might be giving this holster away, but not now, so don't get too excited. But yeah, that's what I've been carrying as of right now. No light or anything. I've done literally nothing to this gun. It's not loaded at the moment, as you already saw. I checked. But yeah, so that's what I was carrying today. And that's all I have. You have a great night.